INFJs analyze others to gain a clear and fair perspective of them. But what happens when the tables are turned? What happens when people analyze the INFJ and their quirks? Are their opinions negative or generally on the positive side? Are they seen as spacey and unpredictable, or are they seen as the empathetic and kind-hearted people they know themselves to be? Welcome, or welcome back, psychos! Before we get into it, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the post notification bell so you never miss a video. Number 1. Reserved. Well, INFJs, you knew it was coming. There's no way around the fact that this introverted personality type comes off as reserved, private, and even slightly antisocial at times. Sure, they can mesh with any crowd and adjust their energy to fit that of another person, but deep down inside, they much prefer to keep to themselves. To put it simply, if INFJs could socialize without talking, they would happily observe from afar. In fact, being a fly on the wall is the INFJ's favorite social scenario. And this doesn't go unnoticed by others. In fact, in some social groups, it may take a few get-togethers before the INFJ even touches the surface of speaking their minds. However, the good side to this noticeable quality is people notice that the INFJ shows a great respect for personal space and social boundaries. Although they will usually keep their emotions at a certain distance from others, it usually comes off as them being a bit more formal throughout their social interactions, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But despite their reserved nature, other people will quite often find them to be quite pleasant company, and many people tend to feel oddly secure and comfortable enough to be open and honest with them. Number 2. Pensive. Pensive, thoughtful, and reflective are 3 adjectives that the INFJ wouldn't be surprised to be described as. They're constantly reflecting, analyzing, observing, and introspecting on life and everything in it. And although their reserved nature doesn't always prompt them to share their analytical findings with others, their deep demeanor is noticeable from the outside looking in. They may be seen staring off into the distance, reiterating their past experiences, or pushing to connect with people's emotional sides. Rooted in this reflective and nostalgic-based energy comes a slight intensity that hints at the depth they hold. However, without knowing the INFJ's imaginative thought processes, one could easily mistake this intensity as intense seriousness, making them seem rather strict and stern, which is certainly a misconception. Number 3. Graceful. Because of all this reserved and pensive energy, people with the INFJ personality type can be perceived as a considerably graceful and sophisticated individual in the eyes of others. Depending on the setting and person, this quiet nature can come across as quite an attractive appeal with an essence of mysteriousness. Although they can morph their demeanor to match others, like we've mentioned, they have an unwavering poise and politeness that is never not apparent. This gives the INFJ's inner beauty a spotlight to shine outside of their physical looks, showing others how charming and courteous they really are. The best part of it all is that this grace comes with an obvious sense of acceptance, because, to the INFJ, it really doesn't matter who it is they're talking to. They'll always show up gracefully. Number 4. Weird. Yup, some people see the INFJ as just plain weird, and they're not exactly wrong. INFJs are extremely unique and often don't relate to a lot of the world or the people in it. So it's understandable that their discomfort within the world is kind of noticeable to others. Whether it's their deep life questions, their reluctance to open up about themselves, or the simple fact that there's not many people like them in the world, some people walk away from a social engagement with an INFJ and can't help but to think, what an interesting person. Sure, the INFJ could have very well been doing their best to mirror the other person's energies, but even then, their natural opinions and intellect come through. Number 5. Informed. Sure, INFJs may purposefully choose to not watch the news or read the paper, but being the curious creatures they are, somehow they're always in the know. Not only do they know what's going on at every level in their lives, whether it be the recent drama at work or the state of the world, but they also have an opinion about it. They've analyzed it from every angle, viewed it from every perspective, and dived in headfirst to get the closest thing to truth behind the chaos as they can. This gives them both accuracy and a particularly non-biased stance that gives other people the sense of non-judgmental openness to deepen a conversation. And that's the only thing INFJs really hope for when socializing with others. Number 6. Old souls. One of the first things people will pick up on about the INFJ personality type within minutes of meeting them is their old soul. It's not rare for this independent and grounded type to have been told more than once that they seem mature for their age. With these non-biased insights, their deep understanding of the world, their emotional maturity, lack of desire for materialism, their innate need for solitude, their desire to go against the status quo, and their philosophical view of life, some INFJs feel themselves that they're wise beyond their years, sometimes knowing too much for their own good. Luckily, this energy transmutes into a welcoming and comforting energy that people feel drawn to without much effort. Number 7. Sensitive. INFJs are sensitive beings in more ways than one. Whether it be sensitive to outer stimuli, like loud noises and large crowds, emotionally sensitive to other people's energies and violence, or mentally sensitive to constructive criticisms, no amount of tough exterior will hide their sensitivities as time goes on. Of course, INFJs will do whatever it takes to bear the human experience of any of the mentioned sensitivities, mostly for the sake of not seeming like a wimp or a burden to a social gathering. But for the most part, it doesn't take long before someone witnesses one of the many sensitivities an INFJ experiences on a day-to-day basis. Number 8. Hard to satisfy. Seemingly domineering with their perfectionistic exterior, yet deeply appreciative and playful within, INFJs are a tough nut to crack for some people that try to win them over. Whether it's in a romantic setting or even how they view their own accomplishments, it's as if sometimes it doesn't take much at all to satisfy the INFJ, and other times there's nothing that will truly fulfill their expectations. Like most of the INFJ's contradictory habits, this difficulty to satisfy can make the INFJ come off as slightly more strict than they really are. It may make them seem like they think nothing is ever good enough when, in reality, they just have a particular vision that they know can be achieved somehow. And they'll probably try their best to let you off as easily as possible. Number 9. Altruistic. There's no hiding the INFJ's natural draw towards helping other people. Named the advocate and the counselor of the 16 personality types, the empathic INFJ can't help but to put other people before them. They are pleasers by heart, and actually find true joy and satisfaction from doing so. And not only do they genuinely want to help others, but they don't think it's such a crazy kind thing to do either. They see human decency as a natural trait, and they're confused when other people lack it. However, one thing people also may pick up on is that sometimes INFJs care for others to a degree that ends up being harmful to their own good. By being of service to another at a cost to themselves can end up attracting all the wrong people, and that's when empathy becomes a serious challenge for this type. Number 10. They can get along with just about anyone. Give an INFJ 15 minutes with a specific person, or even a group of people, and they will easily be able to match their energy. Sure, people may just think that they're a naturally social or even extroverted type who gets along well with others. But once someone sees the INFJ connect with different types of people using different levels of charm, it's clear there's more going on there than they'd originally realized. Because of this mirroring ability, some may end up wondering who the INFJ really is beneath their camouflage cloak. Little do they know, they'll probably never witness the INFJ truly open up. Well, psychos, that's it for today's video. So, as an INFJ, what do you think people think of you upon first meeting you? Let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.